All right, traders. Can you believe it? Friday's here already. Well, tomorrow's Friday. The SPY is in a kind of a tight little coiling pattern the last few days. I would note there was tiny volume today, and we are in a holiday shortened week with the market having been closed on Monday. So not a lot of action. It was a very boring day, a little bit of a weird day because of PCG. For those of you that weren't in the room, that thing popped and then halted and popped and halted. And what did I tweet? If I ever meet the person who came up with that halt rule, I'm going to kick him or her in the nuts because that is the dumbest rule ever. But anyway, all right, so what are we watching for tomorrow? RCON had this pop, let's see, what's today? Thursday. So this would have been on Wednesday, right up into the 200-day, gave a lot of it back. Then today, pushing right up against that area again. So interesting for a potential 2-day high break. Maybe it, and you can see the extra volume down here the last couple days. Maybe it gets going. SPI had this big pop Wednesday and a kind of a quiet inside day today. Interesting over today's high, which would be over 287. Again, note the 200-day. APRN still flagging. Had this big pop here, and it's still in kind of a coiling pattern. No trades in. And if you look at the daily range on this thing, it's not a stock that moves a lot. So it's, as a day trader, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite because I like stuff that can really make nice percentage moves. So that's something to think about if you're going to trade it. But we'll see. See if it gives us a setup. OSTK had this big volume. Let's see. This would have been Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then today, right back up near the highs from the big volume day. As a matter of fact, the next day it hit 1594. Today it actually hit 1599 before settling at 81. And then the most recent high would have been back here a couple weeks ago at 1636. But I do like the volume and the action. This one's kind of a tough trader, but might break out of this consolidation one of these days. So it definitely goes on watch. AWSM, this is kind of my sleeper pick. You had this huge move back here, but then in late December, really nice volume spike, and it hit 278. Went right back into a sideways consolidation under 2. And then about a week ago, went to 274, and then kind of right back into consolidation. And the last couple days, if I switch to 15-minute candles, you might see why I like this so much. It looks pretty good, right? Big pop, and then a little bit of a lower high, another lower high, but higher lows. It's coiling. So I definitely want to watch this one, tomorrow, Monday, whatever. I don't know if it's ever going to break out, but it can move nicely at times, and I really like the look of the past month or so. It's kind of setting up for a potential big break, in my opinion. LCI, after this big move here from 5 to basically around 8, it's been sideways ever since. Consolidating for a while. I think it's maybe ready to do another leg up here. You're into this gap already. Got into this gap right here. I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now flagging. So maybe 200-day could be a target on this one. Keep in mind, I'm not a swing trader, but we'll see if we get any kind of low-risk setup tomorrow. BOXL, certainly not in love with this one, but I had a huge 2-day move. Then today gapped down. On an intraday basis, if you weren't in chat, it had this big spike, but then kind of rolled over at the end of the day. So, anytime a stock is kind of in play, as this one is because of the recent volume, we do want to have it on a chart, but I'm not in love with the setup right now. TBLT had that gap up the other day and actually ran to 555 before looking like it was going to come all the way back down. Then had a 2-day pop, looked like it was going to roll over. And then today, actually, a pretty strong day. I was hoping this would close a little stronger, but I think this is worth watching tomorrow. It closed, again, well off of its highs. I wish it would have closed higher and maybe a play through 4 tomorrow, but we'll see. Anything can happen, and it doesn't cost anything to have it on a chart. CLRO had a nice pop today. There it is on 5-minute candle. You see the volume that came in, and it actually held up pretty well. So with this volume, maybe we get a push through 2 tomorrow. We'll see if it gives us a low-risk setup. A few more. EKSO had this pop back here that topped out at 183. Kind of have a little cup and handle thing going today. It topped out at 180. A little bit of extra volume. I believe this one, it's a decent looking chart anyway, but I believe it popped in sympathy to RWLK, which is also on my list for tomorrow. Big volume in RWLK, and the best I could discern was I think there was an article or something showing Bill Gates looking at their the exoskeleton or whatever their device is called. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what spiked it. I don't like trading stuff under 50 cents. A lot of people don't like trading stuff under $1, but when you get up over 50, I like them. But this is, I never know how many shares to take of a 28-cent stock, but we'll see if it gives us a setup. I think EKSO might be a better trader than this one. And then lastly, anyway, VT had this spike. Well, let's go back here. It had a big spike here, then another one here, and it's really kind of flagging. Had an attempt at getting up to the highs of this flag today, but it closed well off of its highs. There's the intraday. Nice volume, but again, rolling over a little bit at the end of the day. All right, so that's my list. We'll add gappers and stuff. Now, some people are going to email me or on Twitter when I put my list out and say, why aren't you watching PCG? By the way, I don't know why this shows 998. That's just a chart flaw, because if you look at 5-minute candles, this thing had a pop, then halted because of the stupid volatility halt, then did this, and it gave you a couple seconds to get in, halted again, and then opened all the way up here. So this should show 1420 on the daily. I don't know why my chart's messed up like that. I don't know, because there's talk of they're still saying they're going to file bankruptcy, and you know what? There's just too much to contemplate for me to get involved with this one. I'd be scared of this thing getting halted, not a volatility halt. I mean halted, like news pending and maybe an official bankruptcy announcement or something. I don't want to mess with this one. You could get halted, and you could get stuck in a halt, and it could be halted for weeks for all we know. For that reason, I'm not having this one on watch, all right? So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see everybody in chat tomorrow.